Incoming right there.
Ta-da! Tactical Rifleman Nation, how you doing? Carl is going to be with us later on. I am here to be with you, hang out with you. How you doing? Happy Monday. Carl is running a little bit late. He's doing training today, or so he says. And I'm thinking, Carl, this is like first Monday, NFL. Oh my gosh. Russell Wilson against his old team. Broncos and the Seahawks. But you guys are more important. So here I am. Here Steve is. So, moderators, let's get off your butt. Let's get to work. Earn your coin. Steve's in charge. So we're going to start off with one of my favorite things is saying hello to everybody that says hello to me. Especially since Carl's not here. And I can go things like Glenna Hughes, what's up? Fighters Soros, whatever that is. Wildflower, Prep Brothers Homestead, Mike Hawks Woolen, Steven Nader. Really? Seriously? Seriously? Okay, Prep Brothers, Kay Harrison, Big Tuna. Ha ha! Love you, brother or sister. I don't know. Let's try not to be gender specific, right? Ah! Okay, so topics for today. Cool things, great things. Just let me know what you want to talk about. I'll talk about it. If I have the knowledge, but don't have the knowledge, I'll either look it up and find out for you, or I'll pass it on to somebody that knows better than me. I mean, that's the SF way. That's the way we do things. Okay? Mr. Michael Johnson, Wayne Trotter, Miss Susan Brisher, oi, oi, oi. I got some things for all my peeps in Australia. I'm working on it mentally. Y'all know me. I'm always dabbling, and I've got some ammunition things that are touring around in my brain. It's going to be specific for Australia, and you're going to love it whenever we get around to it. Okay? Michael Quigley, Down Under. Doug Queen. Hi, Steve. 8.6 Blackout Thoughts. No thoughts on 8.6 Blackout. No thoughts whatsoever. Wildflower again. Sean McBee. Okay, let's talk about the 8.6 Blackout. Someone on the show asked me about that a couple of shows back. Again, if I don't have knowledge or background on something, then I'm not going to discuss it. But I did look it up, and basically, it's the 338 Whisper. I had a lot of opportunity to do some interaction with Mr. J.D. Jones of SSK Industries, who started the whole subsonic generation, more or less. Look him up. SSK Industries, I think they now call it SSK Firearms. Mr. J.D. Jones, what a great American. What a great patriot. He's in his early 80s, I think now. He moved out to near Phoenix, Arizona, out of Ohio. Anything that comes up in regards to like subsonic things, 300 Blackout, now the 8.6 Blackout, JD did it in the 1970s and the 1980s. And, you know, I give credit where credit's due. You know, if someone, you know, takes something and you know, copies something, to me, that's not revolutionary. It's not even quite evolutionary. It's almost like theft, like stealing an election, stealing a cartridge, okay? And, you know, with all due respect to Mr. Kevin Brittingham, that's what I believe, and I'm sticking with it. Australia, oh my gosh. Of all the things I've done in my 30 years of service, a couple places I never got to go to that were on my list of places to go to was Australia and Costa Rica. Still working on it, though, folks. I'm going to shout out to our brothers down in Perth, Glenn Richardson, my hero. You guys heard me talk about Glenn Richardson. his wife is Australian, and she stuck with him through his Special Forces military time here in the United States. And after he retired, she said, "Hey, I want to go home." So he went back home to Australia with her. He's living in Australia now. Love the brother. He's my hero. He doesn't like attention brought to himself. Wow, Glenn, under fire in an ambush. I mean, one of the craziest ambushes you ever saw. Vehicles are hit, knocked out, RPGs coming in, machine guns. The Mark 19, which is one of the main guns in the convoy, went down, malfunctioned. Glenn got up on the turret, laid on his back with the Mark 19 between his legs, disassembled the Mark 19. Remember, this is at night, under fire, okay? And the ISIS guys see him on the top of the vehicle, so they start engaging that vehicle. He disassembled a Mark 19 at night under fire. I can't disassemble a Mark 19 in daytime. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't fucking no. I say, give me the book. I go step by step on the book. Under fire at night, vehicle disabled, rounds coming in. Took it apart, cleared the malfunction, put it back into action, took out the RPG gunners. Wow. And he's now in Australia. So Australia, please welcome Glenn. He's an awesome, awesome war fighter and American. Dabbling in gunsmithing or any other, you're only into reloading. I'm not mechanically inclined. So no, I don't even think about dabbling in gunsmithing. I'm amazed by the people that dabble in gunsmithing. A lot of the work that we did with like the Mark 12 SPR, doing the base guns, the initial base guns in 6.8. Well, first it was 6.5 SPC, and I'm going to get back to you, Tactical Rifle Nation, on the 6.5 SPC because it still exists. I have the ammunition. I have the rifle. Both rifles that were built, 6.5 SPC and 6.8 SPC, was built off of the CZ rifle bolt action. I think it's the CZ 447544. Whichever CZ rifle has the small, what I call small Seiko action, but it's actually a small Mauser action. It's got the claw extractor, which I love, similar to the Remington pre-64s. The 7.62x39 CZ rifle, the bolt takes the 6.8 SBC case rim like that. You go from, I think it's .443 to .42, something like that. But anyway, the magazine, the 4-shot, 5-shot straight column magazine for that CZ rifle takes 5 rounds of 6.8, no problem. It's almost, only thing you have to do is change the barrel and have it chambered. I mean, of course, the proper bore size, 270, 6.8, and have it chambered for 6.8 SBC, and there you are. I mean, what an amazing, just easy to do thing. I did that one. There's another one that I've done I haven't shown yet back in the day, and it's based on an older rifle action. I'll show that one day on the show when I get around to it. But I have so many things in my head, like for the Mark 12, for the 6.8, the family, that I believe that you guys would like. I don't have gunsmith skills. I don't have the production resourcing to produce a rifle. I mean, I would love to produce a Mark 12 myself, since all these other companies have taken my design and them and their family and families of families and great grandchildren and grandchildren are reaping the benefits. Shame on them. Especially if I did work for you, like Silver State Army, and you never paid me. Shame on you. That's my truth, and I'm sticking with it. And I challenge anybody else to come out there that's in these certain companies to come back and challenge me. So as we're doing this right here, I want to talk about ammunition. I've talked several times about case capacity, load density. that kind of thing, as far as getting to having accurate ammunition. Case length, neck length, powder column, consistency, all those things come into creating an accurate round of ammunition. Similar to where you go from 30-06 to the 7.62 NATO or the 308. If you give me a second, so, what are we doing? I'm gonna put it somewhere. Okay, here we go. So, what I'm talking about is, now you remember in the days of World War II, we had the 1903 Springfield, we had the M1 Garand, we had the Browning 30 cal machine gun, 30 in one ball, which for the civilians is 30-06. Okay, the technology in that time period was changing very, very fast. War creates ingenuity. So when we got into the Korean War, the Vietnam era, we went from the Garand, we went through a couple of changes, different rifle systems. We went to the M14 and the 7.62 NATO. Of course, that was a NATO all-inclusive program where the other countries got to come in and say, hey, this is what we think is best. The United States having the more resources as far as dollars are concerned, they got to have their way. We ended up with the M14, which is a bastardized version of Mr. John Garand's M1 Garand. And then we had the 30-06 cartridge, which went to the 7.62 NATO. In my opinion, the better selection would have been the FNFAL and the 276 cartridge. I think it was a 276 Pedersen at the time. Basically a 30-06 neck down to 270, which would be now what we call the 270 Winchester. Well, during that time period, the advancement in technology of powders had improved. So basically, what you ended up with, when I talk about low density, case capacity, powder column, the powders they had then got better. So that's why when you look at a 30-06 cartridge and you shake it, you hear that powder moving around. There's a lot of airspace in there. So basically what they did, they got rid of that airspace and created the 7.62 NATO or the 30-06. Nicholas. So here we go.
It should be good now.
Yeah, I'm good. Nick, is there some way I can see which questions the moderators want me to answer specifically?
They'll just have to type it in the chat.
Have to do what?
They'll put it in the chat, unless they contact you directly.
Okay. Okay. My man Nick is a technical genius expert back up here. So good, we're back. Lima Troy. So in regards to that, I hope everybody that follow that are understanding what I'm saying about technology advancing, where you have the old technology of a 12 gauge shotgun shell, and you have the new technology because of better powders, better materials, where you can run a shorter shell for like 30-06 to 308, and now 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch to 12 gauge 1.5 inch, and almost double your capacity and get the same performance. I shoot these. There's only a couple of shotguns that I know of, and I am not at all inclusive, that are semi-automatic shotguns that will run these. I think they have to be specific for the mini shells. To run the mini shells, you can't run the mini shells and then run the 2 3/4 inch shells at the same time. Kind of takes away from, again, from the hunting aspect when you're running 2 3/4 inch shells like I do. Then I run 3-inch shells, turkey shells. I don't run the 3.5-inch shells anymore because I hate paying my dental bill, and so I stay away from that. But again, when it comes to performance out of ammunition, I am a firm believer that there's evolutionary technology out there that will take the tactical rifleman nation to the next level of performance. And a lot of the ammunition companies, they just plod along. Everything's fine, nothing to see here. Imagine if the ammunition industry was like the car industry. I mean, the car industry and the cell phone industry, they are always attacking the next generation of performance and improvement. Ammunition industry, they're like, hey, we're selling ammo, everything's fine, and some customers, try to push them and say, hey, can you give us something better than this, better than that? Some of the newer later advancements, 6.5 Creedmoor is a good example. That was well done. Well done. The 300 and 338 normal mags. Mr. Jim Sloan, who was a good friend of mine, that was good advancement because they were taking what existed and looking at the options of making it better. So there's always room for improvement, but again, the ammunition companies, they choose to be stagnant, and again, if they were like the car industry or the cell phone industry, I mean, imagine ammunition 10 years ago, it's the same today, and cell phones 10 years ago, they are not the same today. Okay? Vehicles 10 years ago, now the technology, it's incredible. So I challenged the ammunition industry out, guys, do something better, do something different, and if your people in your PR department, your marketing department, or the engineers are kind of, stuck, have them give me a call. I've got a book I keep. I write things down, descriptions, drawings, everything else. And I started out just, I used to say, I thought of this. I'll remember it. I won't forget. And then 2 hours later, you can't remember. So I started writing things down. And I started off as like a couple of pages. Now it's like this right here. And not just ammunition, but rifle performance, tactical gear. I've got a stack of stuff that I do just to remind me when I go back and say, hey, I thought of something a couple of years ago in that category. Let me go find that information and then go over it again. And then I go over it. Most of the time I look at it and go, wow, that was pretty good, Steve. That was spot on. So keep that in mind. And that's one of the reasons why you guys always see me pushing the polymer ammunition, because it's the future. Global warming, climate change, brass, nickel, all this, you have to dig it up out of the ground. It's not going to be there forever. So we got to come up with something different. If you guys give me 1 second, I need to grab something I want to show you. Okay, so, ta-da, what do we got? So I'll go over this in detail later on. Again, talking about polymer ammunition. The last couple of shows I've shown you 308 Winchester polymer, 5.56 polymer, 6.8 polymer, 38 special polymer, which I love because I see that growing into 4570 polymer Australia. Yeah. I got some ideas for you guys. I'm serious. The setup in here, the car's got hot, bright lights in this little. Anyway, so last time, all the other cartridges, this is 338 Lapua. And this is 338 Lapua polymer. Let me say that again. 338 Lapua brass, 338 Lapua polymer. I have some pictures set up for you where I was shooting 338 Lapua polymer out of a Beret MRAD on an accuracy test, shooting 250 grain CNR bullets. I was able to fire these rounds, okay, take the cases that I'd fired, go back to the shed, reload each one of these cases. Now keep this in mind. If I was reloading brass, I got to do full length sizing. Sub KE, I had to do case lube, full length sizing, pop the primer, neck sizing, chamfering, everything else. With this, all I had to do was pop the primer, put the powder charge back in it, and reseat the bullet. Okay? No sizing. No full length sizing, no neck sizing, no chamfering, no chambering, nothing. Drop the powder charge in, seat the bullet, neck tension stays the same. And I fired each one of these polymer cases 5 times, reload them 5 times, and shoot them through an MRAD, and I was shooting at 300 yards. And the accuracy was basically 1 minute angle. So, again, that kind of helps you understand why on the show I talk about polymer performance so often. Because to me, it's the future. It's not revolutionary, it's evolutionary. But at the same time, brass, nickel, all those earth ores is going to get to a point where they're going to make you stop digging, okay? And you won't be able to get that. So basically, again, the thing about polymer right here, this end, that I love so much is working out your low density and your case capacity to its best performance level. Okay, remember, as I said earlier, 30-06, powders got better, more airspace in the case. We're able to shorten that down to 7.62 NATO or 308 Winchester. With polymer, you can tune the thickness and inside of the case of the polymer to give you better load density. Okay, I don't have to shorten a 338 Lapua case if I get better powders that at 45% load density perform better, but at 45% when I lay that cartridge on its side to fire it, now that powder's laying down and it's going to be inconsistent. With polymer, I can tailor the inside thickness of the case to meet that 45% case capacity to make it go at like 90% filling up the case. Everybody understand? Okay, there's going to be a test after this. What's up, KE?
You got room?
Yeah, come on, brother.
Hey, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Oh, I appreciate you warming up the chair for me, Steve. That's nice of you, dude. That's some nice stuff right there. Guys, I'm sorry. Sincerely, I'm so sorry I'm running late today. Been out at the range. I see Steve's been keeping you busy with his haversack. So good stuff indeed. We're gonna give him a break for a minute. Been out at class. We started Combat Pistol 101 today. Tomorrow's Combat Pistol Carbine, but it's a Combat Pistol Carbine is a 2-day course, so there is a night shoot tomorrow night. So that's why we're doing our live stream today. I tried to make it back in time. We're usually done 6 o'clock, which would have put me back here at 7. The range is an hour away. However, if those of you that have taken my classes, you know I'm very big on training the standard, not to time. So where a lot of instructors, all right, it's 4:30, we're ending class. That's not me. We go until we've done the training objectives for the day. So a lot of times, combat pistol goes to 6 p.m. And we went a little long today. We not bad. Not bad at all. Clients did great. We had a lot of law enforcement, some former law enforcement there. We got he's actually one of my patrons, David. He's a SWAT guy from Miami, and he was in here, did great. His wife just got him a brand new slide for his Glock that's got the enclosed 509 with the Vulcan reticle, so he's rocking that. It wasn't zeroed, but he got it zeroed. We got everybody dialed in. We wrapped up the day with final 5. Some of the guys got back to, I think, 90 meters. That was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. So I'm smoked. I am totally hoarse because I've been yelling shooter ready, threat, and then my head's ringing from all the gunfire. Good stuff indeed. So we got a couple questions that have come in for Steve already. I'll wait for him to come back in here, but Steve got the weapon, blah, blah, blah. I want to know his EDC pistol is. Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw that one of the guys, Gustash, was asking, it's something that we actually touch on in class. The Gustash 2531, again, your mom names you pretty weird. Sir, thank you for being here tonight. I work church security with my Glock 17 9mm. Knock a hard armored suspect off balance enough for me to get a clean shot to the head. That's an excellent question, because you know the guy's wearing body armor, so you know you've got to go to a headshot to finish this guy off. You're moving Sewell, low ready, whatever it is. You've already got the pistol down. You've got to bring the pistol up to get to the guy's head. I'm gonna pass right by the guy's chest. Why would I not want to shoot on my way there? So what we teach is, because a guy moving, a guy that's moving, that head moves a lot more than the center torso does, and that high A zone is a lot larger. Even if you miss a little left, a little right, your chance of getting effects on target is a lot easier than you trying to hit a head up here. That right? Because for me to move the heart 3 inches, that's 3 inches from there to there. Moving the heart 3 inches, that head moved 18 inches, guys. That's just the truth. So that's why we start with the head. So now your question about the effects: would 9mm, if a guy's wearing hard armor, is it going to knock him enough? Are you going to knock him off balance? The reality is, no, you're not. But he's going to know he was hit, and if he's coming up on the sights, him getting hit, it will knock his sights off target. It will buy you the time. Now, we've had guys understand, our assaulters that are trained full battle rattle. A lot of our assaulters are 230, 240 pounds. You put on 30 pounds of lightweight kit, 35 pounds lightweight kit, add all the ammo and everything. Guys, that's 260 pounds of mass coming from his point of domination towards you. Understand, shooting even a couple of AK rounds, hitting that plate, our soft plates, soft as in SOF, our special ops plates are not single hit plates like a lot of the military sappy plates only have to stop one AK armor piercing round. Ours had to be able to, they were called multi-hit plates. It had to be able to take 10 plates before they failed. So the guy's able to absorb that damage, but understand he's still getting hit. Is it going to buy you enough time? Yeah, probably. It probably will. And but what's your other option to say? Well, I'm not going to try to slow him down at all, and I'm going to just try to hit that fast moving head. If he's wearing armor, start high center. Always start high center, guys. That's why we train that. If you take all you guys out there, take that left fist. All right, make a fist. Make your fist. All right, do it. You guys can do this at home, TV land. Make that fist and sit your knuckles right on your sternum, right there. And guys, that's roughly where your heart sits inside your chest. You've got your left ventricle, right atrium, left atrium. Off the top of it is your aortic arch. Right, aortic arch off the top of the heart. And then you've got your subclavian neurovascular bundles that run out underneath your shoulders there. But basically, this area right here, guys, that's all good eating right there. That you're doing a lot of damage hitting the guy right there. Start a high A zone. Stay on the trigger. All right, knock the guy back till you've got that clean shot to the head, and then transition up there. All right, you guys had a bunch of good questions for Steve. That's awesome. That is awesome. I got another one here. Steve or Carl, for soft applications, when cost factors are removed, is 40 Smith & Wesson a more capable caliber than 9mm? Thanks for sharing your expertise. Yeah, we had 9mm in the military. At the time, you got to remember the FBI, after all the shootouts in the 90s, the FBI actually went to 10mm. And then they realized there's too many chicks. I'm not talking about just females because I'm not allowed to judge your pronouns anymore. But understand there's a lot of gentle people in the FBI. There really are. 10mm, you understand 10mm is what I'd be using for mountain lions and bear. All right, 10mm, it's knocking the snot, but it's also recoiling a lot. It's not fun to practice with, and if you're not enjoying practicing, you're not going to practice. So what they did was they took the 10mm projectile, 40 caliber, and they shortened the 10mm casing down to what is now known as the 40 Smith & Wesson. So it still kicks a lot more than 9mm, but it kicks a lot less than 10mm does. So they dialed it back. 40 cal, a very hard-hitting round, stronger than the 9mm. Well, at the time, Delta was, and this was early 2000s. Delta was wanting to get away from their single stack 1911s. Sorry, guys. So there was a contract that went out for a new Combat 45, because at the time Delta was running single stack 1911s. I want to say this was 2002, 2003 time frame, maybe 2004. Don't quote me on the exact dates. Steve would actually know the project. Steve was doing force modernization then. And actually, one of my favorite guns that came out of that was the Taurus. I know nobody likes Taurus. The Taurus 24/7. And it was a double stack modernized 45 caliber pistol. And a bunch of other companies came out with nice modernized 45 caliber pistols. And then all of a sudden, the contract went away. It just disappeared, and everybody's like, but we just spent all this money on R&D. It went away because the guys at Delta are like, dude, this Glock 40 cal is the cat's ass. I mean, it's hitting harder than 45, and you can get hollow points for it. Right? They're not fighting a uniformed enemy over there. There's no Geneva Convention restriction. Don't judge me. All right? But even with ball, 40 cal is hitting very hard. It's double stacked, and you can carry a lot more rounds than a double stack 45. So they just were like, yeah, let's do it. They get what they want. So when they decided to go with 40 Smith & Wesson in the Glock 21 and forgot what else it was. I think the 23. Glock 23, I believe is what it was. And that's the compact, not subcompact, but the compact one. I believe they were, that whole double stack 45 contract, it went away. It did. It went away. So, FBI switched to 40 cals. All your police departments switched to 40 cals. But then what they're realizing is 40 cal is still not that fun to train with. It's rough on the guns because what they did was they put the 40 cal 40 Smith & Wesson into a Glock 19. And it is a little too hot for it. And there were lots of people breaking parts in the Glocks. Especially when you start running plus P plus loads and some of the hot law enforcement ammo that's out there. They were tearing guns up. So, and you got people that are, again, gentle. So the big push was, let's go back to 9mm. The advantage of that for the military was the military was wanting to, they're wanting a better combat pistol, but at the same time, they don't want to add a new round to NATO. Remember, the U.S. military as a whole does not recognize 40 Smith & Wesson as a military round. It's not. It's a law enforcement round. Certain units use 40 cal. Okay, my old unit, right when I was getting ready to retire, they were getting 40 cals. They had the nice tall suppressor sights, threaded barrels. They came with tan magazines. So you didn't have to worry about people stealing magazines. He's floating around here somewhere. Guys, Emery just walked in. He had to close out the range for me. I literally left the students on the range and raced home. How you doing, brother?
What's up? What's up, everybody?
You didn't wreck?
I didn't wreck.
He's in his brand new trailer.
I had the Mustang try to race me, and I was like, I'm going to be smarter than that.
All right, so we're actually talking about the 40 cal round being effective. 40 cals are decent. They are, but understand it's like the old argument. 9mm versus 45. We actually got a video coming out on that, not this Friday. I think it's the following Friday. We went back, did it with hollow points and everything. But the reality is there's no replacement for displacement. So in other words, the bigger your engine block, the more horsepower you're going to get. Likewise, bigger your projectile, bigger the barrel on the cannon. It doesn't matter what kind of ammo you're running. Bigger the barrel on the cannon, an M1 Abrams tank with a 120mm smoothbore hits at longer range and hits harder than the 105 millimeter on the original M1 Abrams tanks.
But it's a little bit harder to shoulder fire.
There's that. So, anyways, 40 cal. I used to carry 40 cal as my EDC ammo, but I got away from doing it. I like some of the 9mm ammo that's out there right now. I really do. And my whole thing is I can train so much more with 9mm. And it's to the point where the military actually, they finally got around to replacing the Beretta. Don't get me wrong. In the 1980s, the Beretta was a good gun. I'm not saying it's a great gun. I'm not saying it should have got the contract. Understand when they started the test, a lot of people don't realize this, when they started the test for the new Army pistol in the 80s, the State Department told them, all right, you can do your test, but just so you know, Beretta won. Serious as a heart attack, guys. It was a dope deal between the State Department and Beretta.
Tit for tat.
The Beret is a good gun for 1980s technology. The 1911 is an awesome gun, iconic gun for 1910 technology. All right, but the Beretta immediately became dated. And like the Army just bought like another 600,000 of them 10 years ago. And they didn't even say we want light rails on them because they would have had to replace all their holsters. So instead, they didn't make any improvements on it at all. And I'm like, you guys are freaking morons. You're going to pass up improvements that should have been done in 1990. You're going to pass these improvements up because you're worried about logistics of having to replace every holster in the Army. And I understand from a logistics standpoint that makes sense. It's a lot of money. So when they finally did the big push for a new gun, Big Army could have said, we want to go 40 cal, but they didn't do it. They decided to stay with the NATO 9mm round. I like 9mm because, guys, no matter where I'm at, no matter where my truck breaks down, this planet, the entire planet, is blanketed with 9mm. Literally, you can go to Brazil, there's 9mm. You can go to Germany, there's 9mm. In Antarctica, I want to say there's like 12 rifles and 100 pistols in Antarctica. Or some weird number. I actually had it briefed to me once because there's only so many.
Being serious?
Yeah, being serious. There are nations that have contingents down there, and they do keep firearms, right? Again, there are a lot of bear in Antarctica, but that's the whole thing. There's not, guys. You understand? There's penguins, and that's about it. So. It's like Moonbase Alpha. Do you really need a gun in space? But they're there, all right? But understand the big rifles and everything, the pistols in Antarctica are fucking 9mm, excuse my language, all right? So it doesn't matter where you're at. Any 5 and dime store, any gangbanger on the street, they're carrying 9mm. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. So my EDC is 9mm. Did we lose Steve? Did he take off already?
I
don't think he. No, his stuff's laying everywhere. Steve's coming back. He's coming back. All right.
Hold on. Can I say something on this topic?
Yes.
Yeah, guys, if you're considering calibers, right? Everything Carl said is, I think, incredibly accurate. There's another piece you may want to consider. Yes, there's effect on target, and a bigger bullet that's still flying pretty fast does have some more effect. But the other thing you have to consider is your level of shooting and how good is your grip control on the gun, right? Because the juicier the round that you shoot, it kicks a little bit more, and so it's much easier for you to control a smaller round that still has really good effect. In terms of its terminal ballistics.
And we saw it all day long today. Matter of fact, today was Combat Pistol 101. Now, people hear 101, so this is our beginner entry course. This is basic pistol. But it's not. It's not basic pistol. This is our entry level shooting class for combat shooting. All right. We start with pistol because all of your fundamentals, all of your drills from here with a pistol apply to here with a rifle. Literally, it's the exact same thing, guys. All right, it's the exact same thing. So we start with pistol. Tomorrow we start combat pistol carbine with 2-day course. But we start with pistol. But we tell everybody, look, it is not, Combat Pistol 101 is not a basic pistol class. You need to have the basics done. And I want to say 80% of the time, 85% of the time, we have guys come to class that do not have a grasp of the fundamentals, and we end up having to rewind and go back over the fundamentals. And then I don't mind having to do a review. I don't mind tweaking guys that need their trigger reset because they've never really worked on it a lot. I don't mind going over why we do grip and stance the way we do for combat shooting. I don't mind elaborating on the basics, but students should come with basic competency with the firearm. And unfortunately, a lot of times they don't. Today, and again, I had some awesome students here today. Great class. But more than half of them really needed to have us go back over grip, because grip doesn't just let you shoot accurately. It allows you to manage recoil. And if you're able to manage recoil, it's not just that first bullet, it's all the other ones. And remember, you've got to get enough effect on target to put that guy down. And by the way, bad guys don't travel in groups of one. So if he brought 2 other buddies, you've got to be better than 3 guys. So what we did was we very early on this morning, the whole morning is nothing but improving your draw. And we ended up having to rewind. And I say at the beginning of class, look, I've got 2.5 days worth of drills. Nobody's ever gotten through them all. But what we're going to do is we'll get as far through it as the class can get. I mean, if I've got a great class that's switched on, we might jump forward. If I got guys that are having problems on something, I have drills that will focus on that. Like we've got this one, it's a trigger finger isolation drill where you're literally, you start with a 2-handed grip, you release your support hand, you release your bottom 2 fingers, you raise your thumb up. Only thing holding that gun is that finger and your trigger finger. And what it does is it keeps all of everything else from hiding mistakes you're making with your trigger.
Yep.
All right, it's a good drill for that.
Excellent
There are
drill.
other drills for fixing other things. So today we had to take a step back. I had them unload, show cleared all the guns out, and had Emery go back over the importance of grip, but starting from square one, where normally we work on, all right, you're already gripping correctly, now let's fine tune it and work on that nutcracker and everything. We couldn't do that today. We literally had to go back and slow things down a little bit, and that's kind of why I was a little late at the live stream. I showed up like, I was a half hour late. Don't judge me, guys. I tried. You didn't pay to come to this live stream tonight. Reality is you didn't, all right? My sponsor, USCCA, all right? USCCA sponsoring it. So, surely Steve gave a big shout out for USCCA. if he didn't give a big shout out for the United States Concealed Carry Association, guys, if you're not one of those guys that's read on to them, go to uscca.com. They're gonna educate you on what's gonna happen after a shooting, because understand you've got internal ballistics happening inside the gun and the barrel. You've got ballistics in the air, external ballistics. You've got terminal ballistics, what's happening in the body when you hit the guy. But understand, part of terminal ballistics, every bullet you shoot is going directly into the jury pool. You are going to court. The bullet's going to go right through that bad guy, and you are going to have to answer for every bullet that you shoot. So USCCA prepares you for that. It's a very minimal membership, and there are other good ones. You do US Law Shield.
Correct.
Lewis Law Shield, another company I like also, but I kind of prefer USCCA. They've got it there, the USCCA Academy, online academy. You take other classes and stuff. That's okay. It's okay. But the big thing is it's decent. It's a decent company. There's a couple of them. And the argument that, well, it's your 2A constitutional right. You shouldn't have to worry about going to court afterwards. I agree with that. You shouldn't. If it was up to me, lawyers would all be in the wood chipper. They would come right between deer and turkey season. But you understand that it's not up to me. There's a reason why I'm not king. There is. There's a reason why I'm not king.
Because you believe in democracy.
Dude, I would reduce our nuclear stockpile by 50%.
The right way.
Right off the bat. I'm getting rid of half of our nukes right away. But, all right, no big deal. We're not going to do politics here. So,
nope.
So big shout out. Thank you to USCCA for sponsoring us here tonight. So how's that new truck running, Emery?
Oh, my God. It's...
He towed the tactical rifleman target trailer. It's over an hour drive, guys. About an hour, 10 minutes to the range. And that thing's loaded down to the gills, barricades, targetry.
Here's the crazy thing, right? So I towed this big trailer today, and I've towed it with my old Tacoma, which is not built for towing, right?
Not built for
the
towing.
reason I had to go with this truck, other than like I trust Tacoma, Toyota as a brand.
Yeah.
But beforehand, my focus with buying a vehicle, which I've had the same vehicle for 15 years, right?
Yeah.
That same truck.
You got it brand new, right?
Yeah, I did get it new. It was, thank you, Army. And it was a great truck, but back then my focus really was all my off-road stuff. Not off-road as in like I'm specifically going to do
Rock climbing
off-roading
and stuff, yeah.
but all the stuff I do is way in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect truck.
Yeah.
To get me all the places. Well, now my big focus is I'm going all over the country, pulling our damn trailer and doing stuff like that.
So you went one size larger.
So I kind of feel like I had to.
Yeah,
and
you did.
I got today, pulling that trailer, I got better gas mileage than my Tacoma with no trailer. Okay?
I don't doubt it. He's got a gorgeous trailer. I want to give a big thank you to my patrons that became his patrons. And
you guys are awesome. I love you.
Emery's not good at making money. So for all of Emery's patrons out there, thank you for stepping up and helping this caveman get enough money together for a truck payment. So good stuff. Apparently Steve has been talking ammo with you guys. Dude, I didn't do nothing but make you do it.
Dude,
I just had to motivate
I know you guys appreciate Carl because you watch this shit and you probably wouldn't if you didn't. But Carl, turn your hearing aids off a second. You don't need to hear this shit. But I would like to say that I personally owe Carl a giant debt of gratitude for.
So full.
Turn your shit off, man. You're not part of this. All right, I've said enough. All right, cool. Thank you. I'll shut up. And then I'll steal your Patron.
I'm not listening.
But if I may go back to the class thing real quick, here's a decision that we've made recently, which is next year. What we've decided is we're going to put on the calendar. Our buddy Chad Mormon and I and Carl designed some new classes. And what we're going to do, the new class that will cover in depth all of the fundamentals that what we call the core skills. We're going to have a whole 2-day class. There's going to be a 2-day class pistol, 2-day class rifle on nothing but those things.
Now, he had to come up with a title. Now, understand if I put a class on the calendar that says Basic Pistol Fundamentals, none of you guys will sign up for it. Go get a shot glass on the show. Dude, you're not putting those lips on my bottle.
Fine.
Dude, I know where those lips have been. So, I need to have a cool title because if I just put basic pistol, I know none of you guys will ever take a basic pistol course because you guys are all already awesome. Because the reality is we don't know what we don't know. We don't. I've been shooting for 30 years, Carl. I'm good. I'm awesome. I'm ready for your advanced ninja operator course. Okay, advanced.
Did someone say ninja?
Ninja operator course. No, everybody wants advanced. So, because our combat pistol 101 used to be called basic combat pistol, and nobody would take it. So, I was like, Emery, you need to come up with a cooler name because people need the fundamentals. My competition shooters need the fundamentals, and combat shooters need the fundamentals. So, because they put together a great class, but you need to have a sexy name. So it's called Gunrunner Pistol and Gunrunner Rifle. It's going to be 2 separate courses at 2 days long. First day is...
So the breakdown is the first day we're learning the proper fundamentals, but in the way, probably done in a way that regardless of your background, you haven't really experienced. So the first day is learning. The second day, it's not enough to learn a skill. In order to be able to use that skill, you need to build up enough proper repetitions on that skill.
Now, understand to push it into your subconscious mind It takes 3 to 5,000 repetitions. No, you're not going to shoot 3 to 5,000 reps,
No.
but
3 to 5,000 perfect
repetitions. Now, but you just doing, instead of one magazine on a drill, you're doing 3 or 4 mags on a drill.
Yep.
You've mastered it enough that now when you leave that 2-day course and you go home, you now have it, hey, these are the drills I need to do. And it's so much easier for you to then, and I understand a lot of the reps, you can do dry firing at home. Basically, the only thing you can't do dry firing is recoil management and then drop of the bullet at distance. But besides that, you can do all this dry firing. It helps to every now and then get out there, shoot live ammo to see. But some of the best shooters come in from overseas and they've never shot a live gun in their life. All they've ever done is airsoft and dry firing. And then you give them they don't have any bad habits. They don't have any bad habits. So it's called Gun Runner Pistol. It's a 2-day course. And then they're also going to have Gun Runner Carbine. Now, normally our courses, carbine is pistol carbine because if your rifle shits the bed, again, we teach combat shooting. If you're within 25 meters, you're inside a room, why would you mess with a malfunctioned rifle when you've got a perfectly good firearm on your hip? Why would you do that? So we go over transitions and everything. That's not the point of Gun Runner Carbine. It's not. Gun Runner Carbine, again, starts with the fundamentals of shooting that firearm. High ready, low ready, all the different manipulations, loading, managing the recoil of it. So anyways, I'm excited. When I put together the original set of courses, me and Z Durham, we took the SFALC program of instruction, Special Forces Advanced Urban Combat. It's a 10-day course. It starts with 5 days of flat range, literally 5 days. And we took that 5 days, we looked at it, and literally like every drill is 6 by 30. Literally, you're doing single shot, 6 magazines of 30 rounds, single shot, single shot, single shot. And then literally all day. And then one, you guys would be bored to death. 2, you guys can't afford the ammo the way the U.S. military can. So me and Z were like, all right, let's take that 5 days and let's grab the drills that we think would benefit people the most. And we put together basically our 3 days, 1 day pistol and then pistol carbine, 2 days. Since then, we modified, adapted, and that class has morphed over the years. But we've reached the point where, hey, the basics is what people need. And we're like, wow, there's so many people that teach the basics. So many people teach the basics. We don't need to mess with it. They should have it down before they come here. Should and do are different. So we're going to be adding Concealed Carry 1, Concealed Carry 2, a couple other classes to the calendar.
Which, for the record, the whole concealed carry thing we're putting on, it's not a come take this class so you can get your permit.
No, yeah, right? Not at all.
We're actually practicing and learning the skills
It's
you
the
need.
exact same drills, but instead of you doing it from an outside the waistband tactical holster, you're now doing them either from appendix carry or small of back, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever you show up at class. Yep. I want you guys with your kit.
Yep, and we've actually added a bunch of other stuff to the concealed carry stuff too. It's not just the same presentation drills. You're going to be doing a lot of that,
but you're going to be
getting a lot of
pushed and all kinds of stuff. A lot of shooting while moving, seeking cover, different positions. So anyways, we've got a bunch of good courses for 2023. And the reason why we're talking about it now, I know it's only, what is this, September?
We're in
September.
September, yeah.
September is when I start populating the calendar for 2023 for the following year. So I've got instructors right now, hey, getting me class. Sularu's wanting to do a pack animal loading class with Randy Warris. I was on the phone with him because it would be cool, right? If you guys, if your truck broke down and you happen to have a pack animal, I guess.
Don't look at me that
carry around pack animals. But legitimately, Randy actually was the guy that taught the Green Berets that, if y'all seen the movie 12 Strong, the horse soldiers, the Green Berets that were going in on horses. Most of those guys had never been on a horse before. They were given classes by Randy Rawhide Worst. And so Randy is definitely the subject matter expert for that. It should have been 13 Strong, but Randy got kicked by a horse the day before infill. Hilarious.
If Randy was there, it probably would have been like 28 strong.
Yeah.
He's got that weird strength.
The Captain Thor in the movie, that's not him. He's not
Captain Thor.
Oh shit!
Honestly,
he's a super nice guy. Mark Newt.
The real Mark.
His real name is Mark
way cooler.
Newt. He is way cooler than Thor, the guy that played him in 12 Strong. But Mark Newt, no joke, grew up horses and roping and
he
everything.
Still has cattle.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
He's awesome. He's awesome. But most of the rest of the A team were very much cherries as far as being up on horses. That's some strong stuff right there. All right, let's see. We got a couple other questions come in. I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of you guys put questions in here for Steve. Steve is coming back. He is. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Carl, best chow hall at Bagram. Dude, I'm not even going to go there. Number one, Air Force is always going to have the best chow halls. That's just how it is, guys. Air Force is always going to have the best chow hall. J556. Man, you guys, mamas, she must have had a lot of kids. Her father was John, so J, and then he's the 556th child. You understand? Her kids must have been just like falling out. All right. At Susan Britchett, Carl mentioned on a past live stream a radio he gave his daughter to keep in the car that was plugged and used. That was type of radio to stay in contact on a bad day. Thanks for all the great. You want to grab one of them?
Yeah. What are they?
They're right behind that TV right there. That one right there. If we just pull that TV forward, not that one, the other TV to the right. I mean to the left, to the left, to the left. Pull that one forward. There should be a couple of radios in boxes right there. Look down, next shelf down. White boxes with radios in them. Down.
White boxes up
No, down a shelf.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I keep a couple spares because nope, that's not it.
Hold on.
That one right there.
Or this guy?
That one. All right, guys. No, it's still in the box. Now, notice this box has been opened. Okay, it has been opened. All right, but legitimately, this is when my daughter keeps one of these in the trunk of her car. My son keeps one of these in the trunk of his car. If you're going to be going somewhere, keep them in the trunk of your car. There's one in my camper trailer. All right. I don't keep this in my Jeep because my Jeep already has a nice 50 watt antenna. All right. This thing is not 50 watts. It's only 15. All right. This is the Milan Micro Mobile. It's a GMRS Midland Micro Mobile. Can you guys read that? Okay, guys. It's 15 watts. It's a GMRS radio. It's two-way. Now, why do I leave it in the box? Because literally, why would I take it out and let everything get stepped on and cords get knotted up and everything? This is perfect. But if you look at it, it comes with the radio that literally you can sit it on the seat next to you. It's got the hand mic that you literally can sit on the seat next to you. And then it's got an antenna, guys, that's magnetic. All right? But then it also comes with the cord is designed to plug into the cigarette lighter. So let's say all the power grid's down, all the cell phone towers are down. My daughter knows she needs to get home, right? And I'm not going to get deep into our combo plan, but basically my daughter knows twice an hour when she's supposed to come up on the radio and be listening, all right? Now, me going to go get my daughter, or even if she's coming back in this direction, twice an hour she needs to be listening to this thing. And to do it while she's riding, literally, she takes it out of the box. You can sit on the seat, plug it in the cigarette lighter, run the antenna, put it up on the roof, and she can drive. This works if you're in a rental car. It works if you're in a two-door sedan. It works if you're in an SUV. It just works, right? And GMRS, literally, you can just rotate through the channels. You don't have to have any crazy shit. Just your family, pick a channel for you, but always have an alternate. What I mean by that is your off-road crowd, your guys that go off-road, their channel, their go-to channel is always channel 4 for four-wheeling. That's what they do. Their channel that they keep it on is channel 4. The problem with that is you go to an off-road place like Turkey Bay, there's 500 Jeeps out there on Memorial Weekend. A lot of them are on channel 4. So the backup channel for most off-roaders is then channel 8. So should you and your family be using channel 4 or channel 8 when you know everybody else is used to using that? No. And again, I'm not getting into what channel my family uses because there's just some things I'm not going to share with you guys. But to answer his question, again, Midland Micro Mobile guys, they're not that much. They're not. They make a larger one that's actually can be hardened in an ammo can that is 50 watts. Midland's a good company. I don't have any gripes with them at all. Right? Yeah, you get all your weather channels and everything else. It's a decent radio system. I like it because it doesn't have to be hardwired in the vehicle. You don't. You change vehicles. Hey, I'm going on a trip with my buddy. Okay. Okay. One, do I approve of him or her? And if I do, all right. But you're going to take certain stuff with you because if you don't get to go. All right. And toss it in the trunk. You'll never need it. Bring it back. No big deal. All right. Decent question. For my patrons that are out there that are coming to the Patreon course this year in November, we're actually going to be going over some great communication stuff. And so I'll have more information to follow for that. Because I'm going to give you the equipment we're going to be using. So if you want to buy it ahead of time and bring your own stuff to class, so you're actually training with your own stuff, cool. If you don't, please don't feel pressured to buy it. You're welcome to come in and use the stuff. I will have me and Chris Weatherman will have enough that stuff for you. Where you been, Steve? We've missed you.
Come sit. I took your seat. Come on. No. You sit down.
No, I'm fine.
You sit down. They don't need to see my ugly face.
I'm moving around trying to...
Come snuggle, Steve. I got a couple questions for you, Steve, that's come in from the peanut gallery. All right. People want to know how Steve got into weapon development, any schools or courses, and also want to know what's his EDC pistol. What got you into Force Mod, Steve? I know the story, but why don't you enlighten him?
Okay. What really got me into Force Mod? When I was a tiny baby.
That big. He was a preemie. He was a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger. Okay.
So, when I was growing up in Brunswick, Georgia, my granddad, the great late Mr. Jamie Lee Parham, was a World War II veteran. Somehow, some way, back then, they got to bring their war rifles home. I don't know if they purchased them or how that all worked out. But I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And we used to live in these houses, they call them shotgun houses, on the other side of the track. So his bedroom was, when you came out of the house, there was a walkway open to the air, like a porch kind of thing, that led back to the bathroom and then the kitchen. So in his bedroom, he had this big, giant rifle.
It was
called an M1 Garand. And it
12 feet long.
Yeah, 12 feet long.
He was a baby.
Yeah.
He was a baby.
I was probably, I don't know how tall you are at 5 or 6 years old, but it was a big, giant rifle. And every once in a while, he would let me take it out, and then he would have the ammunition. And I look at these big, giant, long-ass cartridges. I didn't know back then.
Big, long bullets.
They were 30-06
Yep.
cartridges. But that kind of stuck with me.
Long-ass bullets.
So, life goes on, life goes on, life goes on. And interesting fact, I very seldom have mentioned to anybody. I don't think my wife even knows this. We'd moved to the other side of town, Brunswick, Georgia, and there was a movie theater called the Lanier Theater, right on the coastline. I mean, you pull up in the little shopping center and you can see the marshes and the water, St. Simon's Island, Jekyll Island. And it was a Saturday matinee, and it was cartoons. So you paid for one, you got to watch like 3 or 4, 6, 7 different cartoons. So after that, the movie was coming on, and I said, I don't know. I want to watch this. Can I stay and watch this? I mean, what am I going to do? Go back home? So my oldest sister Linda, she said, no, you can't stay because she's in charge of all the kids. So somehow, some way, she let me stay. I can't figure it out to this day. But the movie was the John Wayne movie, The Green Beret. I was probably 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
And I remember that movie in that theater to this day. And I remember coming out saying, 9 years old, I want to be a Green Beret. So that's kind of how it started. That started me down the path. Later on, became sports, girls, all this other stuff. But I never really knew that in my subconscious that I was going to be a Green Beret.
That's what you wanted to do.
So,
now, see, for me, it was the exact same movie, except you got to remember it came out in 68, 69.
So I was 8 years old, 9 years old.
He was 8 years old. I was 2, so I didn't watch it in the movie theater. And my first time seeing it, I was in junior high school. It was on Saturday afternoon matinee on the big TV. My mom had just got this new color TV. This thing was massive. It was the big
back then, it
box.
was massive.
This screen,
the box was that big.
I'm telling you, the screen was almost 28 inches across. This box was massive.
28 inches.
28 inches.
Oh my
so
God.
I sat there laying on that crappy ass carpet. Oh my God. And watched the movie The Green Berets and made that decision right there and then. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So in junior high school, I had already made the decision I was going to be a Green Beret. What's your EDC pistol, Steve? They're curious.
I already told him. I'm not going to tell him.
Okay. All right. You don't have to. Okay. All right. Here's another one right here. All right, we got that one already.
So keep in mind that how God works. Okay, I was 8 or 9 years old when I watched that movie. My favorite part of that movie, one of my favorite parts, was when the VC took the camp and Puff the Magic Dragon showed up. And I remember they were saying, Savoy 7, Savoy 6 or something like that. This is Puff the Magic Dragon, where you want it. And he said, put it on the camp. They got it. We don't.
Those people have
yeah,
it.
we don't. And so I was sitting there, 8 or 9 years old. And yeah, and they showed this plane with this gun and went, and the camp with
What's that?
And the camp was decimated. This is how God works. I had no idea at 8 or 9 years old that I would be the precursor of the Minigun 2 Special Forces units in 2005.
Ain't that crazy, guys? Literally, him 8 years old watching a C-47 helicopter airplane, the old World War II plane. That's what Puff the Ground was. Puff the Magic Dragon, where the windows were. They took out all the windows and they bolted 7.62 miniguns there. And the pilot basically flew and he looked out his side window. He had a little grease pencil mark. And that's how they aimed those guns. That was the original Spectre gunship. And who would have thought that 8-year-old watching that beautiful sight of miniguns singing And then all this time later, Steve, that's pretty awesome. That really is.
Yeah, it is. Hey,
Yeah.
that's
The
how God
Lord
works.
works in mysterious ways.
God works in mysterious
He
ways.
sure does. He
Because
does.
I remember the first time I saw the minigun, not on a helicopter. I was up at Crane, and Jay Johnson came up to me. He goes, "Steve, I want to show you something." I said, "Okay, Jay." And we were doing this. I think we were doing SOP mod stuff at the time. And he took me way back in the back in Crane. Back and back. I mean, you had to go way back. And we turned the corner, and there in the little cage section was an M134 minigun connected to a battery system and the ammo cans and everything else. And I guess the SEALs had already been using them on their fast boats. And I looked at that, and Jay said, "Steve, what do you think?" And I turned and looked to the guy. I can't remember the guy to this day, but I can see him in my mind. I said, "That runs off of a battery instead of like the electric system of the bolts and everything." He said, "Yeah, so it's independent." I said, "So if it's independent, it can go in a vehicle." He goes, "Well, yeah, we're going to have to do some this and do some that, and this and that, this and that." I said, "Can you bring one of those to Fort Campbell?" He said, "When?" I said, "Next week." He goes, "I don't know, man. You're going to have to talk to my boss." So I went and talked to his boss. And I told his boss, I said, "I need to see one of those systems at Fort Campbell next week." So we bought that system to Fort Campbell next week. And I went up to our fabricator, my man, Rick Renault. Me, Jay, Rick, and a couple other people. I said, "Rick, this is what we want to do." And Rick said, "Okay, Steve." And that's Rick.
Yeah.
And he was up at Levelwood Distillery.
Yeah.
A couple shows ago. And Rick said, "Okay, Steve." So about, I don't know, 2 weeks later, Rick came up to me and said, "Hey, man, stop by the motor pool, and I want to show you something." So I went by the motor pool. There was a M1114 up armored Humvee with the minigun mounted. He had blow torched and cut and made all these different things. And he said, "Get up in the turret." I got up in the turret. I got up. He said, "Okay, do this." I said, "Okay." He said, "I hit the button." I hit the button and it went. I said, "Yes, sir. Here we go."
Understand that you don't have to have ammo in the gun, guys, because
It's electric gun.
it's electric gun. It's got two motors. One is on the top of the can for pushing the belt, and the other motor is actually on the gun that does two things. One, it pulls the belt in the chute, and it also spins the barrels. So you keying it, you don't even have to ammo. You don't even have to have ammo in it. You can still make that puppy spin. You get that beautiful sound. Beautiful sound. Beautiful sound.
So at that point was when I asked the major question. I said, "Rick, we need to run this off of vehicle power, and if we lose vehicle power, I need to go to battery power." He said, "Okay, Steve." And about a month later, we took it out to one of Mr. White's ranges.
Yeah.
I think it was range 51. And we ran our first test, and it worked out really great. And I said, "Man, I'm taking a chance on this because I did, you don't seek permission, you just ask forgiveness."
Yeah.
That's a Steve
That's
Hall
it.
way.
SF way.
Yeah. So we pushed that gun system over to Balad
Yep. Siege Sodif AP.
in Iraq.
Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force, Arabian Peninsula.
So we pushed it out, and I don't know who was on the ground at the time because we always had a force mod guy in country. Then of course the guys in
I
the
think it
rear.
was Al, Big Al Crawford.
No, Crawford went on board.
Okay.
It might have been John Vandenbosch. Can we say it?
You
John.
That son of a gun, right there.
So
I love John.
we sent the system over, and I guess about 3 weeks later, I'm doing my thing, running the shop, making things happen, and somebody called me from the S3, said, "Hey, Commander Siege Sodif AP wants to talk to you. You need to be here at 8 o'clock tonight." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, what am I going to say? No. So I'm sitting at 8 o'clock at night, and we get on the Stee, I don't know what it was back then. but it's a secure phone, and it was Colonel Pagan. And
Good guy. He was a
oh
good
yeah,
colonel.
awesome
Good
group
colonel.
commander,
Yeah.
awesome group commander. And he said, "Steve," I go, "Yes, sir, I'm here." He goes, "That minigun system you sent over?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "When can you have me 6 more?" I said, "Sir, as fast as I can." He said, "Make it fast." Boom. Once the commander gives you an order, anybody else that says no to you is requesting more information because you're not telling them the right thing because they said no. So I worked with Crane, worked with some other people, worked with the comptroller, and that's when I got my first sucking chest wound investigation for spending $1.2 million on 6 minigun systems. And I was like, told the investigator, I said, "I'm a master sergeant in the United States Army. I can't order the group comptroller or major to spend $1.2 million. I don't have that authority." So basically, it came down to, I was accused of lying that we didn't have any minigun systems. And doing the whole tribunal thing, I said, "Sir, I did not lie to you. You asked me how many miniguns do we have here at Fort Campbell. I said none. We don't. They're in Iraq." So basically, that's truth. Truth.
It's 2 different property books.
Yeah, 2 different property books.
That is a forward combat zone property books. What I mean by property books, guys, is like when my SIF company would go replace like my sister unit, B23. We'd show up. We'd bring some equipment with us, but when we got there, we would sign for all the equipment that was already there. There'd already be so many gun trucks. There'd already be 50 AT4 rockets. There'd already be 500 Carl Gustav rounds. There'd already be so many radios, so many thermal sights, so many this, so many that. We'd sign for it and get accountability, check serial numbers, make sure people weren't stealing the shit going home. All right, we've got everything, we're good. Then they could fly home. All right, and then same thing when our rotation was over with, the next unit coming in, we'd have to lay everything out. We had our forward property books in the combat zone and different pot of money.
Just way different pot of money because what was property seizure sort of AP in Iraq had nothing to do with 5th Group organic property, and that was what they were saying. You spent operational funds that belong to 5th Group for operating on combat development of the minigun system. I said, no, I did not. And so basically, watching John Wayne, the Green Beret movie when I was 8 or 9, watching Puff the Magic Dragon go to work, here I am almost 27 years later in the 5th Special Forces Group, pushing that same system out to the guys forward in combat and wreaking havoc.
I got Mark Wayner asked, "Carl, you ever been to PSAB? Palm Springs Air Force Base? Is that what that is?"
No, I don't.
PSAB. I got Mark. You're gonna have to elaborate, dude. I don't know what PSAB is.
I don't have it.
Never heard of it. So
Sounds like
chances are maybe
Prince
no.
Sultan Air Base.
Yeah. What is it?
Prince Sultan Air Base. Sounds like Saudi.
Prince Sultan Air
Yeah.
Base. That was King Fahd International Airport, I think, where 5th Group and 101st was staged in Desert Storm. I don't think so. Not if you're talking about a base in Soda, Saudi. Trying to read what's going on in the chat room.
Okay.
All right, no big deal. No big deal. Let's see. That's the last one right there.
Kuwait. He says it's in Kuwait.
Kuwait. Oh shit.
I've been to Kuwait.
Back then, it was, we called it Ali Al Salim
Ali Al Salim,
Air Base. They might have changed the name of it. Why not? But back in the day, Ali Al Salim Air Base was the big joint U.S. and Kuwaiti air base. There was another one down near the Saudi border. I never really got down south very much. Most of my time was up at Ali Asaline. Yeah, I have a lot of time at Ali Asaline Air Base. I've done halo jumps there, all kinds of stuff at Ali Asaline. We actually staged out of there for the initial invasion of Iraq. Yeah, good stuff indeed. All right, guys, if you got any questions for Steve, first I want to thank Steve for coming in early for me and holding the fort down. I do.
I was just like, okay, Kentucky State Trooper, here it comes. You know, when I got past what was that exit you take to go north to Hawkinsville and keep going?
Yeah.
Is that 65?
Whichever one it is. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
I was like, I said, man, I'm going to have to throw Carl Erickson's name out there somehow because I got to beat this timeline. And I got right past that, and there was something, I don't know whether they were arresting somebody or there was an accident, but
there was
a sheriff's car and 3 state patrolman cars. I went past that at 72. Once I went over the hill, I said three state patrolman cars.
There ain't nobody else.
I got 17 miles.
There ain't no other state troopers around.
I was doing a Carl Erickson. You know, I didn't pit anybody, but I was doing a Carl Erickson.
I pit 2 people, and all of a sudden I'm a bad person. I don't know. I came in a half hour behind you, and the cops were gone by then. So I just left the cruise set at 97 the whole way, and I just truck. Guys, I tried to get here on time. I did. We've been through all that. Guys, if you've got good questions for me and Steve, put them in the chat. What time you got, Steve? How late we getting into here already?
8:32.
8:32. All right, guys, we got a half an hour left.
Damn.
You know,
when I get here early, it's like
I was gonna do another giveaway tonight, but honestly, I'm gonna hold off on doing a giveaway.
Ghost Anime. Steve, were there any tears seeing the first successful minigun run or using it? No. There was
there any
joy,
what?
tears. There was joy and elation.
With the
joy and
minigun?
elation. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Miniguns are awesome, guys. It's just they call it the breath of Allah in Sada City. Serious as a heart attack. We didn't come up with the name; they came up with it.
Every time I think about the minigun program, I think of Najaf.
Yeah.
I think of Wick and Jimmy Adams. My gosh, they had one of the best linear ambushes set up that we had ever seen. Because normally you got individuals or 2 or 3 guys from a province, you know, doing IEDs or they may shoot at people. But that ambush in the Joff was a linear ambush along the highway. And they blew it as the guys are going underneath the overpass, which jammed the whole convoy up. And they had people dug in on the other sides of the overpass in fighting positions. And they had the RPKs and the PKs and the RPGs in support, which we had never seen. Because normally you got an RPG gunner, he's by himself, or he's got a rocket runner, and then he shoots some shots and run. These guys were set back about maybe 150 meters, and they never moved forward. They were firing in support the way we do, support by fire. Mm-hmm. And they did not account for those 2 miniguns that A-15 was running in that convoy. And when Jimmy Adams and Wick went up that overpass, looking down to the other side of the highway, they could see those fighting positions, and they started running those miniguns. Oh my gosh. We had never run out of ammunition on a minigun truck in any fight whatsoever. I mean, think about it.
Each Humvee's got 9,000 rounds. 9,000 rounds.
That's 3.
A Little Bird doesn't carry 9,000 rounds.
That's 3,000 round cans, okay? We had never run out because once a minigun starts cranking up, everybody on the other side of it, they hear their wife calling them. Said, honey, dinner's ready. You need to come home. They're
done fighting.
They're done on the fight.
Yeah.
When those miniguns pulled up and that fight was on, both of those trucks ran out of ammo. The guys were running up the overpass with M240 ammo, 7.62 ammo belted, 200 rounds per can. They were running up the hill, linking cans, 200 rounds to 200 rounds, 200 rounds. Now you got 600. And by the time they linked it, the gun was pulling it up. It's like, hurry up! The gun's sucking it up, and they just and I remember Jimmy Adams looking at me and said, "Steve, I plowed the road." I said, "What a beautiful thing! It's a beautiful thing," and that was like the preeminent thing that helped us move that program forward past those 7 guns that we had in country, because we had the first gun, then we sent 6 more gun systems, because they showed up as a truck. You didn't just like have a gun, ammo cans, feed chutes, batteries. You got the truck. When you signed that property book, when you came into Iraq, you signed for that whole truck system. So we only had 7, and that helped us.
Yeah,
the main goal.
Raptor had 2 of them.
Yeah.
Two of the 7.
So I guess I've gone a long way around to whoever asked the question about how did I get into combat development and force mod. It started when I was a child, when I was a kid. God's work.
I got another one here that goes off of that. Steve, any schooling or training helpful to get into weapons design? I guess he's asking from like a personal standpoint. If he wants to get into designing guns, what kind of classes could he take?
Man, I tell you,
it's hard for us to do stuff like that because we were in the military.
The Army has a career field for that. It's called Force Modernization and Combat Development. I was 3 years into the Force Modernization job after Colonel Mulholland asked me to stay, because remember, I was at 19 years when I took that job. I was going to retire before 9/11, and he asked me to stay. And then I was at 19 years, so 11 years later, I was at 30 years and said, "Hey, I'm out." So, but what I found out, I used to get hammered by the higher headquarters, Miss Taylor and the rest of them. They would just like whack my PP all the time when I would do stuff. You know, we did those H&K UMP 45 submachine guns. They whacked my PP. We did the buy on the Marine Corps contract for the M1014 Benelli shotguns. They whacked my PP on that. So what I did, I said, you know what? I've been 3 years in this job, but I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, to the Army's Force Modernization School course. It was like 2.5 months. I went there. Oh my God! I saw a whole different part of the Army. It was the U.S. Army school system, but it was like a college. It was like a college, and everybody there they were in the Army. They were not college students. They were already in the Army, and they walked around. You walked around in uniform every day. And you went to class like you were in college, and everybody said, "I met all these different people that have been in the Army." I said, "What do you guys do?" They said, "Well, we do this, we do that, do that." I'm a special forces guy. I'm like, "Yeah, but what do you do? You get in a fight? Do you like go over?" And they're like, "Oh no, we don't do that. We manage things, and we do this, and we do that, and we support things." It was an eye opener for me. So
Self-looking ice cream cones. They don't get anything done.
So basically, when I came back, I was a beast.
Because you knew how.
Because once I knew how the system worked, I was a beast. I was like, "Oh, Miss Taylor, you're right. You were right. I was wrong. I did not submit form so and so and so, and I didn't follow directorate so and so and so, and now I got." I was like, I was on it. You know, I heard the guys would leave 5th Group, go away for like 3 years, and come back, and they walk up and say, "Steve, I just had to come in here and look in the door because I left 3 years ago, and that little silver Toyota truck was parked out back. Here I am 3 years later, and that little silver Toyota truck is still parked in the back. It's 8 o'clock at night, and the lights are on." I said, "That can't be Steve Holland. That was 3 years ago." I said, "Yeah, man, I'm right here." You know, I got to get on it. What you got? What you got? Got to go.
All right.
You know?
Catch Me Outside. He's got a reloading question here. For Subsonic 308, does it make more sense to use Full Metal Jacket or something like the Lehigh Defense? They've got some controlled chaos over there that's supposed to still expand at low velocity. He says ELDX rounds, but I think he's talking about the Lehigh Defense ones.
Well, I mean,
for you reloading, understand, unless you can afford the controlled chaos rounds or the ones that are actually designed to expand like broadheads at low speeds, right? understand the price is a lot higher. It is. The only advantage of going with the expanding ones, because understand they sounds cool, they expand like broadheads, but the whole point of them expanding is to deliver all that energy right there instead of passing through. And because I've reloaded a lot of subsonic 308, a lot of subsonic 300 blackout, which is the same thing. It's the same amount of gunpowder. It's just it's a smaller casing. But when you're running that stuff, all right, and again that's a supersonic one, but that's a 110 VMAX. Same casing. I can put a 220 grain Sierra Match King or a 208 grain Hornady AMAX, and it's a big projectile. But again, understand it's moving at the same speed that a 45 ACP round is moving. It's right below the sound barrier. So moving like that, the more weight you have, the better. Expanding rounds, are they sexier for the human body? Yeah, okay, I got that. Lehigh Defense has got some badass rounds. I've got some, they're 177 grains, and then I've got some matching ones that are not expanding, but they fly the same for like gathering data, and they're half the price. But they're still 5 times the price of my crappy Sierra 220 grains. So, I don't know. Maybe you've got a different opinion, Steve, but for surgical applications and an unlimited budget, you've got to absolutely kill this. Cool. Spend a little extra money. But for me, I want quantity so I can actually use my ammo instead of just saying, Steve, I've got 25 of these really beautiful, and then not ever use them because you've only got 25 of them. I would rather make, I got the, what is it, what do they call those red boxes? What company makes them?
MTMs.
Yeah, MTMs.
Yeah.
I got all these boxes, and dude, I fill them up with ammo. Fill them up, and once I get a load that a gun likes, subsonics or supersonics for that matter, I make a ton of them, and then I go gather data, because with especially subsonic, it's not flying flat like a 5.56 or a 6.5 or even a 308. It's not. When you think subsonic, think throwing a football. You're even at 200 meters. It's just starting to get unstable at 200. Subsonics aren't really good past 200. But even out to 200, that thing's lobbing like a football. Your drop from just 150 is inches and inches and inches. So you've got to have good data. So how do you get good data? You can do the whole ballistic calculator thing and come up with all your data. But the reality is you've still got to go out and proof the data. And to do that, I can't do that with 25 rounds and save 17 of them for a special occasion. I make hundreds of rounds, so burn through a couple hundred of it, gathering the data, and then I can take that one box and put it up on the shelf. I've got a plastic box of 100 shells that I know if I ever get invited to go hog hunting, I can grab that box and I can slay. Lays it in the dark. It's at that distance. I know the exact distance I'm getting first round kills instead of having to walk shit in like so many people do with subsonic.
So I'm sitting here thinking about your question. Why would you go through the trouble of loading subsonic 308 Winchester 7.62 NATO and then just loading a heavy full metal jacket bullet? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if you're going to go through the trouble of hand loading, you should do. And even go that route.
Shooting a 9mm pistol caliber carbine, unless you're using good performing ammo.
Yeah. Right. Comes with the evolutionary effort for the polymer ammo.
About these two rounds right here, guys.
Is mimic whatever caliber that you're trying to compete against whether it's 5.56, 7.62, 3.3 to pull, whatever, but hit 55,000 psi. That's why a lot of these different companies out there, and I'm not going to call companies names, have failed because they can't reach the 55,000 psi without the case coming apart.
We're having, guys, I'm being told we're having internet issues again. I'm sorry. We're doing the best we can. I am trying to do the best I can. Steve has froze up. Shall I tell everyone goodbye?
I have froze up.
Rest my voice. Yeah, we're frozen up again. Jiggle the cord. Jiggle the cord. All right, guys. If you can hear me, yeah, but not just me, then yeah, I got somebody calling me. Hello. Is it frozen up again? Everybody's saying smack it. All right, tell them. Yeah, just tell everybody I said good night, and we'll see them next Tuesday. I'll have my son double check the internet again. All right? All right. Yeah, thank you, Mom. Yep. Bye-bye. Bye. All right, Steve, we're going to wrap it up. All right, if you guys are watching this internet, understand I am told that we are locked up again. So, all right, that's how it is. We are obviously locked. We are locked up again from the looks of it. It looks like me and Steve are locked up pretty bad. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to kill this live stream here. And we're going to call it quits. I'll see you guys. Big shout out to USCCA again. Thank you for their support here. We'll see you guys next week. Y'all take care and shoot straight.
Incoming right there. Incoming right there. Incoming right there. Incoming right there.